All right, Nico, I'm going to give you your feedback for the layout project. First thing, in your naming, it's good that you've identified which things go with what assignment. I like that. One thing you can do is just add a little notation. So that if tile level 2, this is a 1024 pixel image, you can just underscore 1024. And for the layouts, same kind of thing is you could do 1920 by 1080, or some way to indicate that, well, this is the 1080p image resolution size. That's just another kind of differentiator to say, okay, these were for this part. It's just a nice little thing to do. Okay, I'm just going to comment on your layouts. I think that's where you kind of maybe struggle a little bit more than the other parts. One suggestion is don't squash the images. It just makes them like a poor, it's like something's wrong with your TV and squishing everything. It just doesn't look normal. So that would be the first thing is if you're going to do something, take it and then if it needs to fit within a certain part, so like in here, so this section right in here, let me turn back to normal. So if it needs to fit within this space, you can just mask it so that it stays within that spot, and the image will look so much better. It looks like it's supposed to. It's not manipulated poorly in there. So don't distort your images. It's most of the time it's just not going to look right. That would be the first thing. The other thing on your layout is respect the gaps. So you knew there was a gap there, but yet you chose to have the image go all the way up and lose that gap that was part of the design. So that's it can be a common mistake, is thinking, well, I'll just take up the size that my image needs for that. Respect the gaps in there. So you've got a gap between these parts as well, which you ended up respecting there. So you need to respect it up at the top. Let's put that one in there. Okay, you've got your thing. Now you'll notice that again there's just a slight space in there, so then that would be kind of where maybe the logo would kind of like fit at that point. And then you've got your block that you kind of blocked in there. And again, you could take this block all the way to the end of that. And you'll notice in design, it's all about respecting. Okay, so there's this amount of gap on this side. Sometimes I'll put that same kind of spacer on the other side so that things feel balanced, so that when you look at it, everything kind of feels like it's centered. So just kind of respect those kind of things. Again, your pictures at the bottom, those kind of get done. Okay, so translating this one over, you kind of needed to respect the gap between these pieces in here. You'll notice how that the grid works to a point, and then this part is kind of gridded up a little differently. You might need to create a kind of layer kind of style grid. So if this needs to be a box contained there, let's say that's a content. Let's just say this whole thing is a content area. You could create an element. Okay, so that represents that part of the grid of where your content block, and you can just use that as a guide and snap to this box and then hide it when you're done. Same thing with this. You could say, well, I have another kind of content space, and then here you can respect the sizes. Put another kind of thing, knowing that there's a block that you could drop something in there as well. And your logo didn't really kind of respect the header up in here. So you put the guidelines in, but then you didn't respect it with where you put content. So that's my feedback.